Hi, I'm Judy.
And I'm Tamara.
Welcome to Balance Not Boring, the wellness podcast that's not about extremes or perfection.
Just real conversations on balancing your mind, body, and soul in our bustling city of Dubai.
So grab your tea and get comfy with us.
Oh, and fair warning, you will learn something.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Balance Not Boring.
Welcome.
We're so excited to have our friend and dear Theta Healer, who will obviously explain more about what she does. And this is Zeina Abboud. And she's a certified integrative nutritionist and Theta Healing practitioner with over 8 years of experience. She's worked with hundreds of clients, combining her background in pharmacy with tools like Theta Healing, yoga, and art to offer a truly holistic approach to wellness. After overcoming her own struggles with anxiety and panic attacks, she founded Reboot and Reroot here in Dubai to help others reclaim their power and rewrite their stories. Her mission is simple but powerful. Healing begins with the belief that change is always possible. So thank you so much, Zeina, for joining us here today.
Thank you for
We're so
receiving
excited.
me. Thank you.
Honestly, I think our listeners will really benefit because we're really looking into ways that we can optimize our health, as you know, through mind, body, soul. And this is a great integration into the energy space, the soul space, and how can you feel and look your best by just being at peace with yourself. So we would love to kind of go into this episode and just explain a little bit more about what Theta Healing is, the science behind it, how you got into it, and just your personal experience with having your own clients and what people can expect when they have a session. So that's really the summary there. So we can obviously jump into the questions.
I'm so excited about this
Me too.
episode. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to start off, we really just wanted to know just the basics. We wanted to know, can you describe Theta Healing in simple terms for people that don't necessarily know anything about it?
So Theta Healing is a healing modality that helps you find your negative limiting beliefs that block you from achieving your goals and dreams. It also can help you find your patterns that you carry out throughout your life that keep you stuck and not moving forward. Theta Healing also gives you the tools and helps you achieve your goals and dreams by manifesting, by bringing your goals and dreams into your reality by removing the negative, limiting, blocking beliefs. Theta Healing also prevents or stops you from having diseases. Theta Healing also helps you have better relationships with others and with yourself. So it has a lot of different aspects of healings and different parts, healing different parts of your life as well.
We're just very curious to know, being in the Arab world, what drew you to this practice, this way of life?
So my life has been a build-up, a build-up of things happening, magical, miraculous, and I knew there's something big that's gonna come my way, and I kept waiting, and I knew something important is gonna come my way until I reached my 50s. My daughter said, I'm starting Theta Healing courses. I'm like, what is that? She said, it's a healing energy that I wanna get into. I said, no, don't do that. I'm not sure what that is. Let's not. She said, listen, I'm not waiting for you. I'm gonna take the courses. I said, wait for me. She said, no, I'm not waiting for you, because I was in Saudi. And then she said, no, I'm not waiting for you. I said, okay, I'll come earlier. I'll take the course with you. And so I had so many unanswered questions throughout my life, because I had a lot of incidents where they were magical and miraculous in my life, but I wanted answers. So I took the first course of Theta Healing with my daughter, and I knew this is what I was waiting for all my life.
How did you feel when you knew?
It's an inside feeling, and the material that we took, the explanations and the details and the tools, it just made sense. So my life was an amazing, full life, but it had the missing pieces of the puzzle unanswered questions. And when I took the first course, and the week after I took another course, I'm like, this is it. It answered all the questions that I wasn't able to get any answers from anywhere. Of living also. It's understanding how your perspective, the higher perspective, God's perspective, and understanding how you look at life and how you perceive life and how you make what you make out of any experience or any situation. So it's a way of living.
So you were mentioning earlier that it was up until your 50s that that you started to turn to this. You must have had such really big curiosity about this path that your daughter was taking. I'm just curious to know if you can elaborate a little bit more on how your life was before you were introduced to this.
Okay, so I'm very receptive. So I'm not living life and letting it pass by and whatever. No, I'm very attentive to what's happening. How are things happening? And when I tell you a lot of miracles, because I know there's something beyond the physical world happening in my experiences, in the incidents that happened with me, in the near-death experiences. I know there is divine intervention. I know we're not alone in this world. And that's why deep down inside, it's like intuitively, my gut feeling is telling me, wait, there's something bigger, there's something important. And I kept waiting and trusting and believing, never giving up, and believing that that something bigger is coming my way. And so I went through a lot of phases. So let's say after my stroke, I had a brain stroke. Okay, that's it. I got the message. There is God. Where is God? And I started looking for God in so many different ways, because I knew it was divinely orchestrated, because I knew the angels were involved in making me not get brain damage or not die, or, and so I started looking for a bigger story in my life. We're not only humans, we're not alone. We are guarded, we are protected. God is with us. And so I went on the spiritual journey, but it's understanding the essence of me being a human, having a human experience, connection with God. And I went through a lot of stuff, I read a lot of books. One of them is The Way of Living of Buddhism, let's say. And then I went into Theta Healing, and I saw that Theta Healing is a practical tool. I can use it. I can apply it. And I saw the results from Theta Healing. And I'm driven by results. I mean, if something doesn't give me a result, I'll move to something else. So when I saw the results of what Theta Healing can do, I said, this is it. It can change your life. It can make your life better. And so I went in that direction, and I loved it. And when I get validation from my clients, I mean, I get my dopamine, my serotonin hit, when they tell me how their life changed. I mean, what other than this you need? This is the biggest proof that you're on the right track.
Must be very rewarding.
Very rewarding.
And would you call this in your, because a lot of us are in our 30s, 20s, this is kind of the age where you start to look at the world differently through your experiences. Maybe one event happens to you, or through the micro events that happen over the years. Would you call this an existential awakening, spiritual awakening? Because how do people who have something happen and start to look at the world differently, or themselves differently?
Yes.
I mean, for me, this is the era for change. I just have a different look at, like what you're saying, feel about what I'm doing here, what's my purpose, what's my function, are we just energy having a human experience? All of these questions I never had 10 years ago.
Yes.
So it's, for me, I know the time frame is when I got pregnant. I started to understand my body differently, spiritually and everything. But would you call that your kind of aha moment, or was that
I
accumulating?
had a lot of those, and that's why when I told you I'm attentive, I pay attention to
Yeah.
what's happening. When things happen, I just don't let it pass by. I think about it. What was involved? What was something out of the ordinary? Yes, I agree with you. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. And so when we are here on earth, we come with a purpose. And so our purpose, because we come naked, right? And we leave naked. And there's nothing that happens without any reason or purpose, right? So there must be a reason why you chose to come to earth. For me, I find it that you came to gain virtues, attributes. Because when you leave this world and you go to your spirit world where you came from, virtues also take you to a higher place and closer to God. And so what you come to do on earth is very much related to virtues, attributes. The more you do good, the better your soul becomes, the higher it elevates. And the less you do good, the lower it gets.
You mentioned that you're very receptive, and
Yeah.
this is maybe a personal question, especially I'm very curious to know because I'm also very receptive. For example, if I walk into a room and I sense the energy, it's either great, it's either not so great, or I'm very unsure. And sometimes that's a bit overwhelming or a bit mentally exhausting. I don't know if exhausting is the correct word, but do you ever reach those moments where you're like, oh,
Okay.
I'm very exhausted because
So-
I'm receiving so much.
Okay, I'll explain that to you. So that's empathy. You're too empathetic, right? And so when you're empathetic, you feel with everyone around you. You feel what they're feeling. You feel what they're going through. If they tell you a sad story, you really get down. And so what you need to do, it's important to be empathetic, really important to be empathetic. But what you need to do is separate your emotions from people's drama. And this is how I can sustain listening every day to so many different clients, to so many traumatic events and dramatic events in their life, and not being exhausted at the end of the day, right? Because I'm empathetic, I'm feeling with them, but then I'm understanding that this is their life. They chose this life, this drama, this trauma to learn from it. It's separate from my life. But I stay empathetic. I don't shut down my emotions because you want to be empathetic and have compassion with others. This is very important for the humans to interact with each other. So that's why you're feeling with others and your gut, you're following your gut feeling, right? You're intuitive. So intuition comes from the third eye. You're scanning the room. You're scanning what people are thinking or what people energetically, right? She's sad, she's happy. And then you go up and down with them. She's having problems, look at her, without talking. So you're scanning all of that. So what you need to do is scan, keep that. It's a very good thing that you have, keep it, but don't let it affect you. Tell yourself, I'm impervious from people's negative emotions. And automatically you become impervious to people's negative emotions, but you stay empathetic and compassionate. And you don't get tired anymore. You put a barrier between you and the people.
I remember, I read someone where we were, I don't know if it was maybe a few years ago. Basically, you can do like an invisible energy shield of zipping yourself up before entering a room or seeing people that you know might
100%.
affect you.
100%.
And this is like where I would love to pick your brain about mind-body connection. Because essentially, if you're absorbing all these energies and feeling, anxious from it, or it affects you in a negative way, especially if you're more sensitive or an empath than others, if you do this mental exercise before entering that room, how does the mind believe, and how do you physically feel better when you kind of shield yourself?
Okay. So let's talk about mind-body, right? So the mind is very powerful. Two parts of the mind. You have the conscious mind, which is logic, reasoning, decision making, knowing what is right, what is not, what to do, what not to do. That's 10% of your mind. 90% of your mind is subconscious mind. It's the programs that you stored from childhood. Okay? So here you are talking about you talking to your mind, the conscious, which is going to tell the subconscious mind what to do, and then it will follow. So we are really connected. We're not separate. So what you think and what you say will affect what your subconscious mind gonna do next through the conscious mind first, and then your body will follow. The only time your body doesn't follow what you say is when the subconscious mind is taking over, is dominating you.
Why is that?
It happens. So when you are in panic and anxiety, the subconscious mind is totally in control of everything in your life. It hijacks your life and it takes over. Okay? And so this is what happens. When you are strong and confident and in control of your life, you tell your mind what to do. And your mind will follow. The only time it doesn't follow is when you are in hyper anxious state, in panic, or in generalized anxiety disorder, where you have negative thinking all the time. You don't have control over your mind. Of course, there's a way to do it. My workshop teaches you how to flip it over. You control your mind, not your subconscious mind controlling you. But yes, there is a connection. And if you just tell your body, I'm empathetic, but I don't need to absorb people's negativity, negative emotions, then your mind will follow and you won't absorb it. It's done. And that's the power that we have.
It's amazing, the connection.
It's
I mean,
so
even with
amazing.
so from what I understand, and tell me if I'm wrong, what I've read is basically our organs store energy or emotion, right?
Of course.
So each organ can be worked on depending on the type of feeling you're having or emotion stored. So is that almost like a way of confirming this, mind-body connection further?
Yes. Yeah. So this is called epigenetics, by the way. And if you follow Dr. Bruce Lipton, so he's the scientist, the doctor that proved that whatever thoughts you have in your mind, it's gonna cause dis-ease in your body.
It's by your environment, basically.
So he proved it finally that your thoughts will affect your body, your organs, your systems. And so this is what we do as Theta Healers, right? And so he says that whenever you remove the negative thoughts from your mind, the disease will leave you. So I'm going to explain this to you. If you're angry, if you have these rages, right? This is a powerful emotion, and that's the only emotion that causes you real damage if you keep it in your body. This is an emotion you want to release no matter what. Anger sits in the liver. If you're sorrow and you're always in grief, these emotions will sit in your lungs and cause disease in the organs, right? If you're feeling guilty, if you're feeling guilty and you don't change old ideas and you're angry at these things, then you make kidney stones. If you feel guilty, then you could harbor bacteria in your body that causes you disease somewhere. Or it can affect your kidneys. So people who have a knot, like yesterday, I had a client saying, I get a knot in my stomach. That's or IBS, or irritable bowel disease, IBD, Crohn's. Right away you look for abuse in their childhood. So the digestive system is an indication that there was abuse in their childhood. So if you have someone with skin problems, look at it logically. Skin is the separation between the outside world and your body. When you are disagreeing, you're not on good terms, you're not understanding how life goes on, and you're conflicted with it, you'll cause rashes, you'll cause eczema. So every organ and every system in your body gets affected with what you believe, what you think. And so what we do as Theta Healers, we sit down and ask the people, okay, what's going on? Okay, this, and that. Okay, and then you show them that, they tell you, let's say, I'm having an issue with the world. It's a tough word, it's an ugly world. I don't know what to do with it. It's ugly. I don't want to live on this planet, and I don't know what. And then I ask them questions, and it takes me to their childhood memories. What is happening today takes me to their childhood memories. We go into their childhood memories where they felt they don't belong in this world, it's too tough to carry on. And then the memory comes up, and then they tell me, I ask them, okay, how did you feel when you were all alone, unsupported, and your mom and dad are at work, you're alone at home, the life is too tough, earth is too tough on you. And then she would tell me, I felt alone, unsupported, neglected. They start saying all the negative things. And then I ask them, okay, what did you learn from it? And then let's say she says, I learned to be independent, I learned to be strong, resilient, perseverant, never give up. I learned to do it all alone, which is a negative thing. So right away I ask the person, I put them in theta brainwave. I'll explain later why. And then I'll ask them, do I have your permission to teach you how to be independent, how to be strong, resilient, perseverant, and without being all alone and without doing it all alone? And can I teach you God's definition of being interdependent, meaning you are independent, but at the same time you allow people to help you without feeling weak? And so can I teach you how to be all of these things without feeling unsupported, without feeling neglected? And then she tells me yes, and then I ask God to change it for her in her subconscious mind. And then it's done. The word is so powerful. I asked God, and God has responded and will be done. And then automatically, this person the next day would have a different reality. Like people are approaching her to help her, and it's different. And then you ask yourself, why is she having a different reality? Because a set of negative beliefs from her subconscious mind got removed and replaced with positive beliefs. And so whatever you have in your subconscious mind is a reflection into your reality, into your life.
So this kind of goes along with a lot of New Age thoughts of people believing what you are is what you see, where you put your energy, that will manifest in your reality, and not necessarily religious-wise, but just a way of living, right?
Yes, 100%.
But you remove the limited beliefs through the practice, through discussing what happened in their childhood, and then they can live a new way of life.
Yes.
Are there there's so much to unpack within the human body, the human subconscious, the human mind. There's emotions attached to organs, as Judy was saying earlier, and as you clarified. So each session is so, so, so deep.
It is.
Do you ever have clients that you say you're not ready for this, you are not perhaps open to being receptive to different ways of living?
Never. Because the client came to you only when they are ready. So if I tell them that, it means I am not ready. So I have a lot of clients that had my number for 2 years and 3 years. And they come to me and they told me, so 2 months ago, I had a client. He had such bad anxiety. He threw up before he came to see me just because he didn't know what to expect. He had my number 3 years ago, right? And then when he came to me and he realized like how amazing it is, the third session, he came to me, he said, I couldn't sleep all night. I said, why? I thought his anxiety came back. Got rid of his anxiety in one session, in one digging session. And he said, no, because I'm so excited to see you. He had my number for 3 years. So only 2 months ago, he was ready to see me. He was ready to heal.
So he took that active choice. Like
Yeah.
it's now
They'll
time to
never
face
come
my
to you.
demons, as they say. Like
Yeah.
just face what I need to work on.
He was ready to let go.
So for our listeners and for us as well, because there's so much to unpack, it can seem quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
How do you generally structure these sessions? Do you go right into it, or do you slowly integrate into the person's emotional state and
No.
and childhood?
So they ask me, they come to me. And I, first of all, if it's the first time, I introduce to them what is Theta Healing and how it works. Because I like people to understand what they're doing. Because once you go into Theta brainwave, you're not fully here. You're here, but you are in a slightly hypnotic, dream-like state. And so they can not know or remember what they did. So I explain to them everything that I do because I like people to be aware, right? I like them to understand what's going on. That's the first step. Second step, I ask them, okay, why are you coming to see me? If they have a problem, we'll go through the history of this problem, what's going on in their life now, and how does that, affect them and all that. Of course, I will always take them into a childhood memory that resembles what's going on right now because it's always mostly a repetition. I'll explain to you why. After I ask them if they want to work on something specific, if they don't know what they want to work on, I ask them, what is it that you want to change in your life? What is it that you're not happy with in your life? And then we move on from there.
Someone get into that on their own, just every day.
You can put on YouTube, there are Theta brainwave music. It's really important to use Theta brainwave, especially when I change the negative, I remove the negative from their subconscious mind and I download them, of course, with their permission. I download them with their positive learnings and the opposites of their negatives. They need to be in a Theta brainwave because this is when the subconscious mind opens up. And the subconscious mind holds on tight to the negative beliefs because it came with the positive learnings in their childhood. But when I put them in Theta brainwave, the subconscious mind opens up and is ready to release the negative and download it with the positives and the opposites of the negatives. And I magnify them to fill the void of the negative beliefs, of the limiting beliefs, of the negative emotions that were stored in the subconscious mind. So that's the Theta brainwave.
So
it's
just to
important.
clarify, Theta brainwave, is it just a state of mind that you put the client in, or is it music? How, or are they both interrelated?
It's an energy when I connect with God. So people have to understand God is the healer, I'm the facilitator. People who don't believe in God, I ask them, do you believe in a higher energy, in a higher force? Yes, I believe. I believe that this world is run by a higher energy. I tell them it's that. So I connect with God and I put myself in a Theta brainwave. The person is in my aura. And so automatically they are going into a Theta brainwave, which is my energy around them. And that's how it helps them, relax and open up the memories. Because a lot of times the subconscious mind is tight, doesn't want to open up the memories, right? And so when you put them in a theta brain wave, the subconscious mind relaxes and opens. When I show the subconscious mind what are the positive learnings from that experience, from that memory, then it's ready to let go of the negative beliefs.
And
Because they came together in the experience,
Okay.
in the human experience, their positive learnings, their virtues, their attributes came together with some negative emotions or some drama or maybe trauma. And so when I put them in a theta brain wave and the subconscious mind relaxes and we're talking, we do psychotherapy all the time. And then they tell me, okay, I felt these negative emotions. And I ask them, what did you learn positively? I had these positive learnings in that experience. Then I ask them, can I release the negative emotions and teach you all of these positive learnings without the negative emotions? Then the subconscious mind lets it go.
So as kids, we don't have the brain capacity or development to be able to understand those negative experiences, right? So do you also think that's also every single human has this, like, if you can't really decode or get into your subconscious as a child or understand what was seen in front of you, you might carry that with you as an adult, and this is what you're unpacking because
that's the negative
brain is
belief you
different.
hold from childhood.
Yes, and without really, I guess, looking at yourself and having that reflection, you won't be able to really unpack that. It might just sit with
True.
you. So you need that time at some point as an adult through different ways. It
True.
could be through theta, it could be through journaling, it could be through different modes, which
Very
we'll
true.
talk about. And then another thing I wanted to just clarify for the listeners that might be like freaked out, because, you know, hypnosis, you hear about how someone like, you know, and then you sleep, which sounds scary. I haven't tried it myself. But can you explain when you say put them in theta? Is it a process? Is it like a self-induced thing?
So it is my energy. So I tell them to close their eyes. I cleanse their energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I put myself in theta brainwave, and remember, it's my aura, right? And my aura is wide. The more positive, good virtues you have, if you pray, you get wider auras, right? If you do good things in life, good things to people, your aura gets wider. And so they say the Dalai Lama has 5-mile aura. So
Wow.
all these people that are good and righteous and does good to the world, they get bigger auras. So my aura, maybe it's like this, let's say. So the person is next to me. So they are in my energy. Sorry.
How does that science work when it's virtual? Because I know that with theta, it could be virtual or in person,
Okay.
right?
So I'm going to give you an example. Have you sometimes been around people who were very anxious, nervous, or angry, and then you become like them?
More
Because
than,
you
more
sit-
than
this is
not.
3
empaths in the room.
There you go. You're in their energy.
Yeah.
You picked up their energy. So they pick up my energy, and so they go into a theta brainwave.
But how do you manage that? So
So for me, it's like in a second, I can be in a theta brainwave.
But when you invite someone into your energy, that's very personal, or a healer in general, that's very, very personal. How do you manage, say, for example, a healer is not having the best day and still doing sessions and inviting a client into their space, and that space is really sacred. How do you manage to keep it positive all the time throughout the many clients and the many, many hours you spend with them? Because every energy is very different that you're inviting in.
Yes. So it's what I believe. I put my belief system in that space. I believe that they're going to affect me. They will affect me. I believe that I'm going to carry them and hold them. Then that's what will happen. So what you think, we go back to what you think and what you say will happen. If I believe that, oh, I'm tired today, I can't hold the space for them, it's done. That's what's going to happen. But because I believe I will hold them, I will hold their space, I am there for them, I am supported by God, let's say, then I have the energy to do that.
So you give yourself a pep talk and you establish
I
that.
don't give it. I know it.
Oh, you know it already.
I'm not
You're
at the
certain.
stage where I have to convince myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know it.
Can you explain for our listeners, because a lot of people hear different modalities of Reiki, hypnosis, Theta. Really, Reiki and Theta are compared a lot. Can you explain from your experience the difference and why you chose Theta in the end?
So I did Reiki. I'm not sure if 1 and 2, it's either 1 or 1 and 2, Reiki 1 and 2. I liked it, but it was not enough for me. I wanted to do more. That thing kept telling me, my gut feeling kept telling me, there's more, there's more. And so when I got into Theta Healing, I realized how many different tools there are, and to heal so many different aspects of our lives. And I realized how wholesome the modality is, because we can cleanse energies, we can cleanse your home energy, we can cleanse operation rooms downloaded with unconditional love, which is the most powerful energy from God, let's say. It can change your life, your relationships, it can empower you, it can remove diseases. So the other day I had a client in the middle of the session, she said, oh my God, I'm getting dizzy. I said, why? She said, my crystals are moving in the middle of the session. So she was not able to focus, Right away, I pulled out the beliefs of the ears and I told her, okay, what is it that you don't want to hear in your life? And I went through the ear beliefs. It took 15 minutes, removed all the ear beliefs that created the crystals to create unbalance in her,
So it's vertigo, she felt like
exactly.
vertigo.
And then I removed all the negative beliefs that were causing this, and straight away she felt better. She double-checked it with her doctor, and the doctor said, I don't know how your crystals came back to their place, but you're in a good place. You're good. Your crystals are in place. So it's powerful. When I saw how powerful it is, and the results are so fast and amazingly impressive and eternal, and I said, this is the modality that I want to stick to. So it's in every way relationships. It's creating the life that you want. You want a home, you bring a home to you. You want a job, you bring a job to you. You want friendship, better friendship, you can create that with Theta Healing modality. You want to attract unconditional love, real love, you bring that to you. So it's really wholesome. It's in so many different aspects of life. It touches every aspect you want to make it better. So I said, this is it.
Do you think that all illness is related to emotions, or is it, or could it just be genetics as well?
Okay, let me explain that to you. That's epigenetics.
Yeah, I love this.
Okay, so heart disease, let's say heart disease is on your genes, right? And does not get activated just because your father, grandma, grandpa had it, it gets activated depending on the circumstances that you're living in.
That's Bruce Lipton's
Yes,
MO,
also,
basically.
Yes. And so it could be lifestyle, it could be food, it could be negative people around you, right? And so all of that affects you. Not one affects you, all of that together affects you. They can turn on that gene. But when you are not in a good place, you'll eat wrong, you'll sleep wrong, you sit down, you're depressed, you're not moving. So everything is holistic and related, right? And so this is what it is, and it could sit there for years without being activated. Now, biology and science is proving that your gut bacteria will determine 90-95% of whether these genes get activated or not. And your gut bacteria is affected by your lifestyle, by what food you eat, and by your thoughts as well.
They say it's the second brain.
Exactly.
For me, if I'm nervous or anything, like if I feel really just sad about something, like something sudden, usually, like you said, your gut starts to feel like it's
Yes.
more cramped, you know?
Yes.
I think it's the first brain, if you
Yeah.
really think about it.
Intuition feels like it comes from like
Yeah,
the
I
gut
don't-
when you
does.
feel like
it does.
either relaxed, happy, excited, like the butterflies, or the negative butterflies where you feel nervous and you have issues and IBS happens. And
Yes.
I don't think my person, and I don't know about both of you, but I don't think my gut feeling has ever failed me.
Good for you. You're listening to it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Has it happened?
I've definitely know my signals have thankfully been right, but sometimes I've chosen to ignore. But now the
Yes.
older I'm getting, the more mindful. If I have any ounce of doubt, I take a second to reevaluate that choice I'm about to do.
Yes.
Versus before, I'm very reactive and I say yes to everything and I'm proactive. You know, like I just like to take every opportunity. But sometimes you need to evaluate what's in front of you. So taking an extra second. And what advice would you have? Like, let's say you don't, not in a theta session, but like as just a healer, like when you want to think about, you're on your own, you're in this hard circumstance, I need to make this choice or this choice, and your gut's telling you something. What's something you can tell yourself or do to get in a better place so you make the right choice for you?
Okay, so let me explain to you what's the gut feeling. The gut feeling comes from here. This is the solar plexus, the third chakra. It's about willpower and gut feeling and many other things. But let's focus on the gut feeling. Here, the sixth chakra, the third eye, is your intuition. So both of them work into the unknown, unexpected, right? This one gets affected by fear. And so it can be 50% right and 50% wrong. The intuition or the sixth sense, right? But the gut feeling is always right. So you need to understand that.
Because how many times you visualize something that doesn't actually happen, but you're like,
Yeah.
it's going to go this way. I have a bad feeling, but actually ended up being much better than you thought.
Exactly.
So that's because your fear is taking over.
is getting in the way. But the gut feeling is always right. So you don't know whether to follow it or not. Play with it, experiment with it. Let's try it. Let's see if this gut feeling is right and give it time. And with validations and over time and years, you'll know that your gut feeling is always right. But when your intuition doesn't get right, that comes from here because your fear played a role and gave you the wrong information. This is where the fortune tellers read your fortune. They read this from their third eye to your third eye. That's why sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. Because the fear gets in the way.
There's another organ that I'm very interested in learning, which Joe Dispenza, maybe you know him,
Yes,
of course. He's always focusing on the heart.
Yes.
How the heart has its own memories, its own
Yes.
brain, and its own sense, and its own electromagnetic
its own nervous
field.
system as well, yes.
So do you have any knowledge of that? Like how your heart can also express an energy field around you?
Yes. So the heart chakra is the all-knowing chakra. And the heart connects you between this world and the spiritual world, the physical and the spiritual. The heart connects your upper body with your lower body. So when your heart tells you something and you use your logical mind at the same time, bingo, you got it. It's right. So follow what your heart tells you. It is all knowing. If there is fear involved, that's not your heart. That's the third eye chakra.
So that might be where in the beginning you're explaining how you had this revelation of I need to do something bigger. Is that coming from your heart?
It's my heart.
Yeah, because it was all encompassing.
It's my heart.
Yeah.
It's the knowing. And it's also my soul. I mean, this is what Theta Healing teaches you as well, is there's you, your higher self, your soul, and God.
How can you teach or show how to differentiate between gut and fear?
So gut has zero fear, like you say it, I have it in my gut, I know it's real, I know it's true, I know it's gonna happen. Fear is fear. And if you're having an intuition, oh my God, the boat is gonna sink, What if the boat sinks? What's going to happen? Fear, panic. Then that's your intuition. That could be 50-50, right or wrong.
So we were speaking earlier about how emotions are connected to organs.
Yes.
Are there specific patterns that you see that autoimmune disease generates anxiety, fear, and other gut issues have a set of emotional traumas that come with it? Are there patterns, or is it dependent on the individual?
So I'm going to give you an example with a client that came to me yesterday. I asked her permission, and she gave me her permission. She came to me, and she's pregnant, 4.5 months. And she said that, I'm losing it. I'm becoming hysterical. I'm shouting all the time. I'm screaming at my husband. I don't know what's happening to me. I said, okay, why are you doing all of that? She said, I have to deal with these workers, and these workers are like, they have primitive minds. I don't get them. They don't get me. There's the language barrier, and they don't understand me, and they're stupid. Sorry to tell you, but they're stupid. So this word gave me an indication that she's stuck with it, and probably this is a word where children use, right? So I started getting the clues. It's from her childhood, right? And there's a judgment to it. So, and she said, I'm super organized, I'm super structured, and I'm a perfectionist. So this shows me she is rigid on some level. She's not flexible. And this is how the sessions go. I get hints from what they say. What we say is what's going on inside always. And then she said, and when I get stressed, look at the emotions and thoughts, how they're manifesting in the body. When I get stressed, I get a knot in my stomach, a pain in my stomach, and a pain in my jaws, and I get migraines. Okay? This is how it's manifesting physically in the body. Okay. And she said, I'm feeling guilty because I am I'm sending this stress to my child in my uterus. And I said, okay, and how do you feel? She said, no one knows how to calm me down. No one knows how to calm me down.
So she's looking
That's
externally.
a childhood trauma. That's a child speaking to me. She's an adult. She doesn't really need that someone to really calm her down. So with what she said, and no one knows how to calm me down, I took her into a memory, where she felt stressed, anxious, angry, shouting at someone out of control, uncontrollably. And she went into a memory with her sister. And her little sister was with her. She sent her to McDonald's to get her fish fillet sandwich. The sister came back with the child kids meal fish fillet, and she was so frustrated, and she was angry at her sister. The woman made fun of you. She didn't sell you the proper thing, and she assumed that the woman was taking advantage of her sister. Now, no, you have to also take into consideration that this is a woman who raised her sister. They had no father. The mother was working 2-3 different jobs. And from the age of 8 or 9 years old, she was raising her younger sister. So this is someone who's really anxious. And this is someone who is in fight and flight mode. That's why the knot in the stomach, that's the sympathetic nervous system being extremely active, right? And so this is a person who's in survival mode, panic mode. And so she went to ask the woman in McDonald's, why did you give my sister that? She said, your sister ordered that. And then she took her sister out, screamed at her on the street uncontrollably. She's repeating the same episode. She told her, you're stupid, you don't understand, you're primitive, the way you think. And, she was so scared that her sister won't make it in this tough world. Our emotions where she can't control. She carried, because she haven't dealt with this trauma in her childhood, she carried it to her adulthood, and now it's surfacing. With different players, different scenarios, but it's the same issues.
On this note, a quick one though, because something big is about generational trauma, and now we learned that even in science they're saying your genes can carry past ancestors' trauma.
Let me finish this thing, and I really
because
need
you're
to,
on the same wavelength. Then
yes,
okay,
yes.
good.
But I need to tell you, for her subconscious mind to let go of these traumatic feelings and emotions and the panic and the, the survival mode and all that, I asked her, what are you learning with your sister? What are you learning from the workers? She said, I'm learning to be flexible, to be adaptable, adjustable, to be patient, and to be tolerant, and to accept others. And I downloaded her. Of course, I asked her permission. Can I teach you what it feels like to be accepting, to be tolerant, to be patient, flexible, adaptable with others without judging them? Because I'm downloading it in her subconscious mind. And she said yes. And of course, I did it for her. And I taught her how to be like that without panic, without anxiety, without fight and flight mode. And she said yes. And that was done. And today, I'm sure her life is very different.
Sure.
How does that move on to her unborn child?
They take everything from you.
Everything.
So when I was doing the healing on her, the baby, it's a girl, the baby was healing with her. So let's go to your question.
Yes,
Okay.
about past, like, correct me. What I understand is 7 generations past pass on their genes and traumas, and
More.
you feel more even.
More.
Okay, and then you also, what healing you do now will affect your future generations.
So let me tell you how I do the healing on people. So we build up beliefs, negative and positive. How do we build them up? From our childhood. We're born, like a clean slate. Between 0 and 7, 8 years old, you are consistently in theta brainwave because you're like a sponge. You need to absorb everything and learn everything within that period of time. And so you are consistently in theta brainwave. And so what happens is you're watching, observing, and hearing everything around you. And you're registering everybody's beliefs. Your parents, your grandparents, uncles, aunts, your siblings, if you have older siblings, you're also registering your the family's culture, environment, religion, politics. You're registering everything. And so you choose, okay, I choose to believe this belief because my mom believes it. So let's say my mom is venting with her sister, right? All men are cheaters. I don't trust any man. And she's playing with her doll far, but she can hear her. The mother thinks she won't understand. She's 3, 4 years old. But we are souls. We understand. She registered what her mom said. So she believes that all men are cheaters. You should never trust a man. So she takes that program like a CD-ROM and puts it in her subconscious mind. Because she believes her mom is like a god. And so she adopts, programs, beliefs that are not hers. They are the adults. Over the years, a lot of them are there. Okay, so this is one way you get the beliefs from your core life, the life you're living now. You also get negative beliefs and positive beliefs from your mother, father, from your ancestors, your mother's whole ancestral line and your father's whole ancestral line. You get them on your genes, on your DNA. They sit there, but they can be activated and run your life.
Epigenetics.
Epigenetics, exactly. A third level, which we also can heal from, is the history level. The history level is past lives, because you have other lives. It's group consciousness. Group consciousness, like cancer is deadly. Diabetes is incurable. It's not true. Joe Dispenza was paralyzed. He spoke to himself and he visualized himself walking. So it is not true. That's group consciousness. You're paralyzed, you'll never walk. He crossed it. He went over it with the power of his mind, right? So that's the third level. The history level is past lives, group consciousness, and beyond 7 generations backwards.
So what is your thought that's circulating now in like new age culture of like this generation, millennials and Gen Z are kind of the, I guess you can say, generational shifters. Like we are now a conscious, like you're saying, group conscious that are aware, mindful, and going into a new age of thinking, new way of living.
I love this generation. They're so much better, more prepared than
more
all
present
of us.
and more aware.
More aware, more ready to change, to bring change to the world. You're way more prepared than we were.
So just like on a daily level, like let's say we're just interacting with people at the workplace, you have children, with your spouse, whoever it is. How can you practice like what you're teaching or what you're helping your clients with on a daily basis?
I let people be.
So you give them the tools to still be who
If
they
they
are.
don't ask, I don't give them anything.
So they take
People
what they
want
learn in your session and like, let's say...
So you're talking about clients or my family?
Oh, no, your clients, yeah. So like your clients,
okay.
you work on with them, you support them, you do the session.
Yes.
The next day they have hopefully this new belief subconsciously because you cleared the negative energies and thoughts.
Yes.
How can they now live their new life with these new tools? What do you suggest? Do they practice mantras to themselves or they just live and they have a new way now? New
so
lens.
I got what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me explain something to you. And I teach that in my manifesting classes, manifesting in abundance. And I teach it to my clients who do manifesting sessions with me. Your life is a drop screen projection of what's going on inside your subconscious mind. You believe men will cheat? Men will cheat. You will attract men who will cheat, right? You believe it's going to be a bad day? Done. It's already a bad day. You said it. You decided, okay? But all of these thoughts, words, and beliefs come from your subconscious mind. So yesterday, I had a client telling me, you know, every time I feel that things are good, I know something bad is going to happen after that. Right away, I knew this is a belief that he held it either from childhood, from something that happened to him, or he heard someone in his family saying it and adopted that belief, right? And so right away, you create what you think, what you say, and which comes from your subconscious mind. So when we do the session on the people, I remove these negative beliefs. I'll know the source where my client got this belief. He was so happy and something bad happened. Let's say he was celebrating his birthday and his dad went into a car accident, almost deadly. So I go into that memory. I clear the negative emotions and what he felt. I clear the trauma from his cells, and I'll ask him what you learned positively there, and I download him with the positive learnings there. The trauma is done, is gone, right? And now he can be happy without the fear that something bad is going to happen because it's gone. It's no longer in his subconscious mind. Your reality is a drop screen projection of what beliefs you hold in your subconscious mind. When I change them, you don't need to do anything. It's changed. You don't need to do affirmations. You don't need to practice rituals or watch your behaviors. No, it's done. And that's why it's so powerful. And when you work on your subconscious mind, it's eternal. So when I work on people, let's say someone tells me she was molested. She was 6 years old, molested by her grandfather, uncle, grandma, whatever, or raped, right? I work on the memory and we remove all the negative things, download her with all the positive learnings without the negative, the opposites of the negatives in that experience, right? after that, of course, after that, I would do the forgiveness exercise. It's extremely powerful and it's extremely important for the victim. So we do the forgiveness exercise for the villain or the abuser, let's say. I take her after the forgiveness exercise, I take her to the memory. The memory is changed. She doesn't see any molestation or rape. It's gone. And it's that powerful. Even the memory is gone. It's changed.
It's amazing.
And so can you imagine the life, how it's going to be?
It's liberating.
It is
liberating.
powerful. And
so
that's why I
quickly.
love Theta Healing, because I see the results and I see how effective, I see how powerful it is, how deep it is, and it's so easy. And and it's so easy to live your life to the maximum without being stuck, without feeling blocked, and being happy.
Do you think fear is the number one belief that governs people's everyday and prevents them from moving forward?
I love your question. So real. So, in my opinion, two forces, like this is known, not only my opinion, by my opinion later, two forces govern the world: fear and unconditional love. Unconditional love, I used to think it's a cliche, now I understand what it is because I work through Theta Healing, and I understand the power of unconditional love because it can move mountains. It's incredible. So I experienced fear, and so I experienced it for a reason. It doesn't happen like that. To know what it is and to help people get out of fear. Fear is extremely limiting, blocking, and it keeps you stuck, and you create your own prison, and your prison gets smaller by the day to the point where you can't even move an inch, right? It's terrible. I have lived it. And so you align yourself either with fear or under unconditional love. Today, I got out of fear and moved myself under unconditional love. And it's so empowering, and it's so opening to
And magnetic, attractive.
and opportunities, and you live a different life. Whereas that one, you're stuck in that prison that you create, no one else creates for you.
From what I'm understanding, people that you see as bullies, as menaces, as selfish, it all comes from fear. Fear of being insecure, from being not seen, from having to prove a point.
Yes.
So I think fear is really, it's really a dangerous governing way to live your life. But I think once you understand yourself and what you're really scared of, you can shift to that new
100%.
new mentality of love.
Totally agree
I
with
feel
you.
like our culture is largely based on fear. Fear that, if you don't say hi to an aunt, it's saib. It's not right. If you don't go to a family lunch,
Taboos.
but why?
Obligation.
It's an obligation that generally instills fear in us from such a young age, and we're not able to let go of it, and maybe we're not able to heal it in our life at all.
No, of course you heal it.
So if you eventually seek the right opportunities, but we wanted to know through this how, I know we're short on time, but how was this received by family, by friends, by your surroundings? How was this all taken
The
in?
Theta Healing.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, they all jumped, and they were like, "What's happening? What is she doing?" It's something new. It's something outside
The norm.
their norm, what they can understand, what they grasp. Even though I explained to them how it works, they didn't get it because it's really new. It's an unknown ground, unknown environment for them. So they got really scared. What are you doing? Where are you going? You're following some cult. I said, no. And I explained it to them, and then you have to accept that that's how much they can grasp, that's how much they can understand of it, and you allow time and experience to show them that it's not a dangerous thing. Of course, their subconscious mind were like, what are you doing? And it's not the subconscious mind likes to sit in what it knows.
What it's
it
comfortable
limits
with.
you from venturing out and doing more. And so for them, no, stay where you are. Why are you doing this new thing? For me, it's like, whoa, it's so exciting. Finally, something new, something that brings change and all that. And so I waited for them to relax and see it, that it's okay, it's not dangerous, it's a good thing, it brings good. And I tried it on them and they felt good. And then it changed. You have to be patient, accepting, but it's fear that drove them into, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing and all that. I didn't listen to them. I didn't let them stop me.
I think at the end of the day, with everything in life, if we're going to just coast the way we've been coasting through life, we're going to always be stagnant. You can never grow without opening up to new opportunities, even if they're out of your comfort zone. Try it. If you like, this is what I always say with any opportunity, work, hobbies, whatever. Try something. If it doesn't work, at least you'll never say what if, and at least you experience something of a challenge. Because just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to just coast and stay the same. So it's always good to evolve.
Listen, I started my journey, Theta Healing journey, in my mid-50s.
Yeah, it's never too late.
I started taking it seriously, like when I saw the results, and I'm like, the results are so amazing, they're powerful. I'm going to take it as my job at 57.
Such an inspiration.
Amazing.
Yani,
so how can our listeners reach you if they want to meet up with you or learn or pick your brain or get a session?
So they can see me on Instagram, Reboot and Reroot. They can also go on Reboot and Reroot .com or rebootandreroot.org, both. I would love, my heart is ready to help more people.
And I think this is such a wonderful way to explain, there's other modalities to healing, and everyone should try and see what suits them, what they're comfortable with, 100%. Right? But it would be lovely. So thank you for shedding your light and knowledge.
Thank you so much. I still have so much to ask
We'll ask you. Trust me. On our way out, we'll talk. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for
so inspiring.
Thank you so much for being here.